I was experiencing plateau and I was experiencing tiredness, and I didn't have a clue how to break through that next level. It just seemed impossible. I even felt lots of time that sense of resentment. I'm working so hard and oftentimes I'm not adequately rewarded for it. These are all, if you like, symptoms of that saving mentality. Unconsciously wanting to save the clients and push them up the hill of this transformation. And I lived in the belief that I have to prove myself. I have to do this, to work so hard for them to get these results, because otherwise I'm not worthy. I was sourcing that worth through this. I realized, like, oh my goodness, I'm really saving the clients and pushing them up the hill, and I started to more embody that lighthouse, that queen standing on the top of the hill. Empowering clients is not just game-changing and life-changing for you and your business, but for clients also. That is the only way how we can create not just short-term transformations, but facilitate life-changing, business-changing, game-changing, sustainable transformation and growth. And this is how it works. My dear ones, hello, Lenka Lutonska here, creator of Business Energetics, and this concept that I'm about to dive in with you has made tremendous difference in my own business, meaning when I was quote-unquote stuck at multiple six figures a year as a coach back then, which is a nice problem to have for many, I know, but still I was stuck. I was experiencing plateau and I was experiencing tiredness, and I didn't have a clue how to break through that next level. It just seemed impossible. And the concept that I'm going to talk to you about, which I applied back then, made all the difference. That's single-handedly one of the most important principles that helped me to go from those multiple six figures at the time to seven figures and beyond. And what I'm talking about, saving versus empowering clients. This is one of those key principles of business energetics that I work really in depth with my dear Business Energetics Academy clients, whatever level, whatever embodiment program they're at, because this is about going from unconsciously wanting to save the clients and, as I said, push them up the hill of their transformation to becoming a truly sovereign self, serving from the highest level and standing on that hill of transformation as a lighthouse and deeply empowering clients. This makes so much difference, I cannot tell you. So yes, grab a coffee or a tea or a nice drink, maybe a notebook if that's how you received best, and let's go into this concept more fully, because I can pretty much promise you that this, if you apply fully, will make a huge difference to the way you serve, to the way you find growing your business easy or not so easy, and to the way you live your life. So let's do it, shall we? All right, saving clients versus empowering clients. What am I really talking about? Well, let's go a little deeper into the metaphor, visual metaphor I always use for this. Yes, to explain this powerful business energetics principle to my clients, but also to remind myself. So imagine this hill of transformation, hill of why the client wants to invest in your product or service. There's always some why. What is it that they want? So that's a hill. And when you're saving clients, typically unconsciously, when you have that need, that unconscious desire or need to save them, what you're doing as the service provider or the one who sells your product or service is you push them up that hill of that transformation. So for instance, back in a day when I called myself Get Fully Booked Coach, and I was really good at it. As in, yes, I got fully booked with my clients, even one-on-one clients. And my premise was, if you're not fully booked with your soul-aligned clients, enough of that. Great. I was really good at it, helping my clients to get fully booked with their soul-aligned clients. I still am, of course, but the way I was delivering this powerful service and was mentoring and coaching my clients was, oh my, I would even say, you will get results over my dead body. Sometimes this kind of language would come out of my mouth unconsciously when I was talking to my clients. Over my dead body, you will get results. Like no matter what, I will make sure you will get results. Why? Well, because that's how I was used to source my value, through external results, through external validation, through when I saw my clients, oh, they're getting results, they're getting results, they're getting results. Amazing. When I was getting that, Lenka, you're an amazing coach. I don't know what I would do without you. I can't literally live without you. So I was mothering my clients and pushing them up the hill big time. What it looked like in a practical everyday working life? Well, sometimes I would be there in the evening in quite, late hours on the phone answering my clients' questions. There would be a ping notification, and immediately I felt that sense of urge. I've got to answer now, because what will clients think of me if I don't? I've got to answer now because they really need me to answer. It's time sensitive, they're launching or something is happening or they won't move on. In other words, what I projected onto the clients is the belief that they need saving, that they need me as a savior to push them up that hill of transformation. And I lived in the belief that I have to prove myself. I have to do this, to work so hard for them to get these results, because otherwise I'm not worthy. I was sourcing that worth through this. Again, did it get results? Of course. Of course it did. But did it get results in the healthiest way? No. In fact, what it was doing is, in a short term, clients were getting great results. They were getting fully booked, or they were getting business growth coming from here to here, or clients from zero to this. Yes, that was happening in a short term while we were working together. But because through this unconsciously wanting to save the clients and push them up the hill of this transformation, what I was doing is really creating this unhealthy dependence between myself and a client. I was sourcing my worth through my clients, and my clients were attended in terms of their abandoned or wounded inner child. So I was mothering them. I was essentially mothering them. And so oftentimes what happened while we were working together, great, we stopped working together, and they would ghost me, they would even talk ugly about me, they would start projecting now their unconscious anger that their mother abandoned them, you see, again, back at me. So that happened quite a few times, and it was at a place where I already was mentioning, where I was really stuck at, yes, nice place, multiple six figures a year as a coach. For many, that's a nice problem to have. But for me, there was lots of fear that what if it happens again? The clients are stepping into my world, all excited. We have incredible relationship while we're working together. But with many of them, they turn against me when we stop working together. Plus, I felt tired because, yes, I was fully booked with my clients. I was successful coach by any measure, but I wanted to make a bigger difference in the world. I wanted to fulfill my soul purpose fully, and it felt impossible. Where do I fit more clients? How do I do it? How do I even scale? There was that glass ceiling I was hitting on, and therefore I even felt lots of time that sense of resentment that I'm working so hard and things are not moving upwards for my business and impact, and I'm working so hard and oftentimes I'm not adequately rewarded for it. And these are all, if you like, symptoms of that saving mentality that ultimately comes down to and is created by prostitute archetype being active in us. The prostitute archetype is that aspect of ourselves that sources the self-value of self externally. So what we've got to do and what I've done back then in order to break through that glass ceiling, in order for them to get myself free and be able to scale to 7 figures and beyond, is really work with this inner prostitute archetype and alchemize, break through those patterns that kept me and my clients a little bit stuck in the same place, even though the external results were great, and really start embodying the sovereign self fully. The king, the queen, inner queen. And that is what empowering clients comes down to embodying fully the inner king or queen, the sovereign self, to be in that full sense of value of your work and of yourself, and just standing there proud and strong and shining the light like a lighthouse, giving the clients tools that they need, guidance that they need, what they need in order for them to make their way upwards. Does it get the same results as pushing the clients upwards? Much better results. Maybe not in a short term always, I will say, because sometimes the clients, when they step into working with you like that, when you empower them rather than when you save them, they will be a little more in place when they need to source that inner resources. So for instance, nowadays what I do when a new client step inside of Business Energetics Academy, I always give them guidance how to seek support and what is the role of support. And one of the things I teach them or explain is, no, you don't want to be in energy of I don't know what to do with this, or I struggle with this, or I really don't have answer for longer than a day. However, what you want is to get used to being okay with not knowing or feeling little discomfort or feeling emotional, even pain, and knowing that it's okay, it's part of the process when you're becoming bigger, stronger, more divine, and all of that, and searching inwardly for the solution rather than with everything. What do I need to do? How do I need to price this? How do I need to, what is my next step? And waiting for me or anyone else inside of Academy to give you that answer before you move on. That's creating that unhealthy dependence. That's disempowering. However, if you really are in that space where, okay, this is happening for me, and I know there is that next level, you'll use the tools inside of the Academy, and you do all of that, but next day you still don't know the answer, next day you still have a problem, next day you're still equally stuck. This is when you really go and ask for support. Absolutely right now. Okay, so this is, roughly speaking, this is the guidance I give to my clients. No, I don't want them to be stuck in a problem for longer than a day. No. However, it's really useful to actually start directing that source of answers, solutions, guidance, etc. a lot inwards rather than Lenka or any other amazing coach, mentor, whoever externally will give me all the answers. That is short-lasting. This is life-changing, business-changing, game-changing. So that's just one of the things that I started to do when I realized, like, oh my goodness, I'm really saving the clients and pushing them up the hill, and I started to more embody that lighthouse, that queen standing on the top of the hill. And before we continue, I would love to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Business Energetics Academy. Because honestly, what else would it be? Because it's Business Energetics Academy where business beyond logic, where wild wealth beyond limits, where limitless success beyond strategy, and where fulfillment beyond measure don't just become possible, they become inevitable. And so if you're watching this and thinking, hey, I want to grow my business from this place and I want to be a co-architect of this new global paradigm in the world, well, you're already being called into the field of Business Energetics Academy. The link is below this video and you will know if it's for you. And for now, let's continue with the magic, shall we? Another thing that I had to change is my perception of what it means to really powerfully coach clients in group scenario. Because when I was embodying fully that prostitute archetype and saving the clients, doing it for them, I would, let's say, have sometimes 3 hours long group coaching sessions inside of my programs. And I would just go and go and go until every single client who was on the call had all of their questions answered, until they had opportunity to speak to every single person. And I genuinely thought that's the only way to do it and do it well. Of course, it was challenging for me to change that perspective and to pull back, because it was about coming to clients and saying, no longer you will get from me hours long group coaching call. No longer I'm going to promise you that every single one of you will ask questions, you will get answered directly from me. It's not going to work anymore like this. Instead, we will have defined time on the group coaching call, and you're going to trust that whatever you bring into that session, any questions, any problem, anything that you need guidance with, will be answered for you. But it may be directly if we get to speak, or it may be done indirectly through other clients. Yes, it was difficult to communicate to start with this change to clients, because again, I was still in that prostitute archetype consciousness where I thought, well, what will clients think of me? And I need to prove myself. So hopefully they will not be too upset. So what I had to do is actually really, really fully appreciate the power of going from saving them to empowering them, and embody to enough level this queen that no, I'm here to serve you at the highest level, and this is the change we're going to do, or one of the changes that we're going to do in order for me to serve you at the higher level than what I was able to do now. I did that from, yes, nervous, but empowered space. And few clients said, yeah, I felt a little discomfort, or I feel like, oh. However, overall, it was great, because again, clients could appreciate that, all right, Lenka is going to serve us even more powerfully now. So yes, making this changing and alchemizing prostitute archetype and embodying the sovereign self, king or queen archetype is not always easy. It's not meant to be easy. You're essentially making new choices that are in misalignment with your old self, with prostitute archetype, and making choices that are aligned with your new self, the sovereign self, which is outside of your normal, outside of what you lived so far. So no, it's not going to be comfortable, but is it going to dramatically make a difference in your business and in your clients' lives? Absolutely. Okay, what are some other, if you like, the symptoms of saving the clients versus empowering? Well, when you are saving clients, you really want to give them your maximum. When you're empowering clients, you give them your best. So again, I remember back in a day when I was creating, let's say, certain programs or coaching packages, anything like that, I would just put inside like literally everything I had, and this bonus and that bonus, and it's oh my goodness, the value is out of the world. Why? When you come to, let's say, a beautiful farm and you're hungry, the farmer probably will not go and take apples from his apple trees and pears from pear trees and meat from his cows and milk from his cows, and there are many other animals, so everything, and will give you like one gigantic plate. Oh, you're hungry, here you go. You would just feel overwhelmed and you would probably be sick afterwards. And yet, that's what we often do with our clients. They're hungry, sure, for their transformations, but it doesn't require us to give all that we have. It requires us to give them the best, to give them what they need. Huge difference. So this is when I started to pull back from all those bonus 1 and bonus 7 and bonus 10 and instead started to really create programs and services that gave them exactly what they needed to create the transformation they desired. Huge difference. Does it mean that I'm against the bonuses? No. If it's a bonus that's genuinely going to, let's say, honor following their intuition fast and at the same time support powerfully their transformation, of course, I'm not against the bonuses. I still use bonuses sometimes, but bonus 1 and then bonus 10 and bonus 100, what is it? It's proving what I have is good enough. Come, and I'll give you maximum. It's prostitute archetype in action. So now, we're not overgiving. That's the right word, right? We're not overgiving. We're giving the best rather than maximum. It's a good idea to ask yourself, where might I be overgiving to my clients? Am I giving them way too much time at my personal cost? That cost may be even the lack of flow or lack of fulfillment or lack of time, of course, and so forth. Am I overgiving them in terms of the features and what they get? Am I overgiving in terms of actually selling what I have for cheap because I so want to help them? Yes, underpricing, of course, is one of the huge things when it comes to saving the clients. I've had so many conversations in the past with clients when they said something like, but Lenka, I really genuinely want to help these people, they need help, and I don't want to outprice them. Please, please, please. Yes, there is such a thing as saving someone. Our dear dogs and little creatures of not so developed consciousness as people need it. Puppies need saving. Little kittens need saving. Not your clients. We can't treat our clients the same way we treat puppies and kittens. We need to treat them as sovereign beings. So when you price for impact, you're not going to price, oh, I'm going to put a price here, which by the way is frequency. I'm going to put a price here that you can definitely afford because I so want to help you to push you up that hill of transformation. That's not pricing for impact. That's pricing for saving. The way we price is we consider how much our ideal client needs to invest so that they can surrender and commit fully to the process rather than, oh, let me try. And so they can see the value, and so you also are generously rewarded. You price for impact. That's very, very different than pricing for service. Yes, that level of pricing should make your client a little uncomfortable. Because if it's, oh, that's just this much and I can afford it, great, they're not going to grow out of it, or not certainly in a way that they deserve. So I mentioned underpricing, I mentioned overgiving, I mentioned breaking your boundaries. What else is there that makes difference between the saving and empowering clients? When you're considering the features of your program, services, and so forth, or products, where are you looking what to put in it? Are you looking outwards at your clients, what is the most convenient for them? Or are you looking what is the best for them and what is best for you? Because if you, let's say, I'm going back again to my example, back in the day, I would do, let's say, polls amongst paying clients. When is the best time for you to do these coaching calls? Is it morning, evening, daytime, what time? I would ask, what do you want? What do you want? So then I'll decide what is the best thing to do. What kind of thinking is that? Again, it's the kind of thinking from reactive consciousness when you're certainly not in a sovereign self. And typically what happens? You make these polls. Can you do calls at this time? Can you do calls at that time? And there is never, ever any time where every one of your clients can do that. So there will be always somebody who is not happy with you. So that's you trying to fit yourself in boxes of people's expectation, your clients' expectations. That's not serving at the highest level. That's not client empowerment. That's saving clients. So again, I had to change it. No longer would I ask my clients what you can do, what's convenient for you, what's best for you. And I started to have the self as my guiding mechanism. What's best for me? How do I want to deliver this? So I would then decide based on me, so I can be in my queen self, based on my preferences, trust that it's the best, what's best for me is best for everyone involved, and then simply announce when it's going to be, how it's going to work, and so forth. Sometimes, of course, the clients will come back, but I can't do it at this time. And that's fine. They can't, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world. No feature in your product or service is making the transformation. It's not a single feature. So no biggie, or make your time. So nowadays, sometimes I have Australian clients who are in completely different time zone than I am. And guess what? As they're stepping into academy, they decide, how many live calls will I attend? Maybe some of them I will listen on a replay. Maybe some of them I will attend live. And if I attend live, yes, it's going to be crazy time. But I know that that's actually the reason why I'm going to get so much out of it. So there are solutions to everything. But the point is, instead of going outwards and what is the most convenient and best for you, my dear clients, you go inwards for that intelligence. You go to your divine self. That's the king, that's the queen, that's the sovereign self thinking. And it's so powerful for your clients. I'll mention one more pattern that is the difference between saving and empowering clients. And that is that you're holding on to something because you don't want to let your clients down or abandon them, even though that something is no longer super aligned with you. So for instance, one client comes to my mind. She was at the time very well established and sought after therapist in a certain area. She was certainly fully booked, but she felt that the way she was serving clients, her style of therapy and therapy itself, is no longer representative of who she was and who she was becoming. She felt there is more. There is mentoring, there is group programs and so forth, transitioning online. But she literally felt, but I can't do this to my clients. I can't just leave them alone. But you see, this is exactly that sneaky saving pattern, seeking into your consciousness and limiting you. Because what you might consider as beautiful, loving service, because you're a good person and good at what you do, so you really are serving your clients, is holding them in one place. Because guess what? If you are doing something that is no longer super aligned with you, 10 out of 10 alignment, but you're doing it because of any of these reasons, because let's say your clients still need you, you're in saving mentality. And you cannot, no matter how hard you try, you cannot give them the highest level of service. You cannot, because that's not your most aligned way of service anymore. But there is somebody else who can. So much healthier way to, in these situations, and it might be your entire way of working, or it may be a specific product or service, a specific feature and so forth, is to tell yourself, no, I'm not abandoning my clients. I never was their mother. I'm empowering clients, so my highest level of alignment is going to serve them in the best way. So in this particular instance, this client, yes, she shifted her entire way of working and she announced to her clients, she gave them loving yet powerful choice. Okay, we can continue working together in this way, or we lovingly part our ways. And actually, most of the clients went with her, and those that didn't lovingly parted their ways, and they found somebody who could serve them in super aligned ways. So basically, even in a more powerful way. And this is how it works. This is how empowering clients is not just game-changing and life-changing for you and your business, but for clients also. That is the only way how we can create not just short-term transformations, but facilitate life-changing, business-changing, game-changing, sustainable transformation and growth. Yes, I'm here to encourage you. Reflect on where are you saving clients still? Where is the opportunity to start empowering them more and make those changes, even if they are divinely uncomfortable? And I will want to hear about one change you're going to make in the comments below. Of course, as a side note, you can extend these reflections beyond your clients, beyond your business, and onto your personal life. That's valuable too, because as you do one thing, you do everything. But even if you do it in the context of your business in itself, it's going to make a huge, huge difference. So that's all I have for you today, and I will see you either inside of Business Energetics Academy, where you get a wholeness of business energetics so you can become a full embodiment of it, or I will see you in the next video. So much love to you. Until next time. Bye-bye.